Welcome to episode 211 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and this week we have our guest, Andrew Orr, back on the show. How you doing, Andrew?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here. Lots of stuff to talk about this week. Warren Sklar's back. How you doing, Warren?
I am back. Gearing up for Chicago. I'm doing good.
Yeah, we got to talk about Macstock here a little later on in the show. But last but certainly not least, Mr. Jeff Gamet is back as well. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right, and it's great to see all of you.
Yes. So, yeah, we've got a fair amount of stuff to talk about this week. Always something, never a dull moment when it comes to Apple. But we'll hit some of the topics here. Found a lot of extensive new stuff was found in iOS 16. It'd be interesting to hear what Warren's take is on this, since he's beta testing on a lot of this stuff. Then all kinds of other great stories. So let's go ahead and jump right into the news for this week. Severance, Ted Lasso, and more were nominated for the 2022 Emmy Awards. Apple TV Plus shows, including those two, were nominated for Emmys by the Television Academy. I believe the total amount that was nominated by Apple for Apple TV Plus was 52, which is pretty incredible. Most out of any network. So Ted Lasso won Outstanding Comedy last year, so it's up for that as well. And there's all kinds of other nominees, including for Pachinko and Central Park and Carpool Karaoke, the series, and lots of others. But what do you think, Jeff? This is just pretty awesome for Apple TV Plus, I think.
It's great, and there's no way this is bad business or bad publicity for Apple.
No, not at all.
And totally turning it into a thing about me, a trick I learned from Brian Chaffin. This is totally validation for me. When Apple first started doing TV shows, that they had Carpool Karaoke and a couple other shows that they were doing themselves, and they kind of sucked. And then they started hiring on the people that could actually do this. And people were saying, it doesn't matter. Apple, they can't do TV. This is going to suck. Other shows are going to be bad. Yeah, and I kept saying, no, you don't get it. They hired the right people and told them to just go do their job. And this is what we get for that. So to all those people that were certain Apple couldn't produce quality shows because they had a couple stinkers at the beginning before they hired the right people.
Right.
Here we are.
Yep. What do you think, Andrew? This it's good news.
I do think it's good news. I, for one, really enjoyed Severance. I finished a couple of seasons, I think, where we're at now. And I'm really looking forward to what they have going on next.
How about you, Warren?
Severance was great. My wife and I watched it. She gave up on it, and after she gave up on it, random people came up to her, like, non-Apple people said, you got to watch it. So she's like, and I finished it, and she's like, for her, it got a little slow. Just give it a chance. So great show. Yeah, Jeff, money buys stuff. So Apple has the money, and they go, they have the money to do it. They have the power to do it. And like I said a couple of times, they also have enough money to fail at it. They could take chances. If it doesn't work out, then it didn't work out. Apple goes on. Yeah. So that's, they could take a risk. The more money you have in other businesses, the more risk you could take in a separate business idea. So, that Severance is good. Ted Lasso, great. Maybe 4 or 5 series that I've kind of watched that I liked, maybe 1 or 2 movies. So, it's not a huge amount of content, right? It's
not
still not yet. Well, right. So, like I said before, you could be in Netflix and have so much content that it's crazy. But they're still only kind of people are only kind of sign up because of certain shows or movies. Yeah. And you could have 1 or 2, and that's good. Netflix has Stranger Things, and it's great. Amazon has The Boys, and it's great. So you get a niche with a couple shows, and that's how you keep people. So yeah, it's good. Competition's good. I always say this.
Yeah. Breakdown was Ted Lasso got 20 total nominations. Severance got 14. The Morning Show got 3, so it's kind of tapering off with that show. Schmigadoon got 4 nominations.
Yeah, somebody told me to watch that. I never did.
I mean, also surprising, For All Mankind, it's obviously made a huge comeback. It was kind of slow the first season, but every season after that has been kind of good.
This season's really good.
So, but it's good to see. Glad to see that Apple continues with Apple TV Plus. All we see is it going up. I know I keep talking about this, but Apple's very close on this. I believe now Apple's going to pay $3 billion for the NFL. And the UEFA Champions League could be next. There's multiple reports saying in recent months that the new Apple was interested in acquiring the rights to stream NFL games. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but they still are very close. It's down to them, and they're saying, I believe, Amazon. I'd be surprised that Apple doesn't get it, because they really want this. And then acquiring that, as well as they've already got a deal with Major League Baseball. So I know most of you guys are not big sports fans, but this is, again, goes along with the Apple TV Plus thing that they're going to have this as well. I mean, obviously this will be a separate subscription versus having just standard Apple TV Plus. But what do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think it's a good move for Apple. I think sports is where some of the big money is. And like you said, they already have baseball. Football is even bigger. And if Apple can grab that, I mean, they're just going all out with all this. So good for them. Yeah.
And right now, people keep saying that Friday Night Baseball, the announcers are just god-awful horrible. Again, those who don't watch baseball, oh, yeah, they're horrible. I know what Apple is thinking of these hiring these people. So have you watched any of Warren in any of the baseball games? Or?
No, I didn't like baseball before. Apple took them. I certainly don't like them now.
Yeah. You're a football fan. I know that.
So I'm in the football thing, and that it would be great. One thing I did think about is, since Apple, and this is a question, since Apple is global, no matter where you are, the content's the same wherever you go. Right. That's their thing. The other countries in the world have a weird relationship with the NFL. Right. Like, so in the UK, you could watch the NFL on a Game Pass, where here you can't, because it's blocked up. So that's going to be challenges too. They might have to, it's going to be a hard deal, I think, to get a worldwide soccer, worldwide football thing. Yeah. But if they do it right, that'd be great. I would love to watch the football games. Right now I do have the NFL ticket here too, so I'm kind of getting it as well. Sure. But yeah, football's good. I don't know what UEFA is at all, so I can't comment to that. But we'll see when it happens. They've been talking about it for too long.
Yep. Any thoughts, Jeff?
Like Warren, I have no idea what UEFA is.
I don't either. Actually, I'm trying to look what it is. I don't know either.
And I have no interest in American football.
Right.
So for me, on a personal level, this announcement is whatever. But looking at it from the business side, whoever gets this deal, this is huge for them, because I don't have to be into the NFL to appreciate what a huge business this is and how popular this is. So yeah, it'll be big for whoever gets it, and $3 billion is just insane money.
Yeah. The UEF is women's football in the UK, but it's soccer.
Okay.
So
my life is now complete. I
figured as much.
Yeah, if they get that deal, I'll be happy.
Next story. They've been talking about this. I seem to remember always grabbing this article and be always interested when YouTube is finally going to do this. YouTube is rolling out picture-in-picture feature for the iPhone and the iPad. Those with iPhones and iPads will be able to watch YouTube videos while browsing other apps, but there is one caveat. This was announced this past Monday as we record this. YouTube will be rolling it out. over the next several days, and it'll be available for iOS 15 and iPadOS 15s, allow users to watch YouTube content outside the app in a movable window. However, there's a caveat. Non-premium members will have access to the feature for non-music content. So now there's being more rules here. If you want to use it to access the music on YouTube, you'll have to subscribe to YouTube Premium. And they explain, there's a link here why, how to access this feature. This is crazy. Well, hey, I'm a YouTube Premium subscriber, so it doesn't affect me, but plenty of people out there that are not. What do you think, Jeff, on this?
What the hell is wrong with Google and YouTube? I mean, seriously.
I know.
Yeah.
Picture-in-picture, as a developer, you get for free.
Yeah.
Apple built it into the operating system for
Costs them
YouTube
nothing.
to have this extended, you have to work hard to make this happen. No, they're being butts about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And this is all about trying to figure out how to manipulate the system for maximum value for them and not for their end users. So while I would like to be happy for people like you, Dave, that already have premiums, so now you can take advantage of all of this, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I mean, come on. YouTube does not get a high five or any level of praise from me for doing what I consider to be less than the bare minimum for their users.
Yeah, I agree. Any thoughts, Warren?
They were obviously doing this to make money, right? People wanted to watch videos outside of the app when they go to a phone, and they saw an opportunity to charge people for premium membership to do so. And I think that's what they were doing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read the article, but I noticed it. I think I noticed it when I watched the Mike do his thing in Chicago. Is it Mike?
Mike Potter?
Yeah. So I think
Macstock.
I think I noticed it right then. Is like I was watching on my phone and I had to go out. I'm like, ah, crap. And then the windows stayed there. I'm like, this is great. So it's great. I've been waiting for something like that for a while. The music thing doesn't bother me. I never would, that doesn't bother me. There's other ways to get music.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, for that. But the video content is cool. So I like it. I'm good with it.
How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I think this whole saga with YouTube and this feature that Apple iOS has had for a long time now. It's been at least several years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I think that was probably the final straw for me in giving up the native YouTube app on the iPhone. Now I just use it through Safari.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. This is a sad story. I don't know. Maybe it is. Apple has reportedly cut all ties with design legend Johnny Ive.
It's sad.
It's just so sad. Apple and Sir Johnny have finally split, with the two parties agreeing to end their $100 million consulting agreement they signed in 2019. According to the New York Times, the parting was a mutual decision. Apple executives had begun to question the expense of the agreement and the departure of several in-house designers to Ive's love from company, the paper reports. So I think this is sad. It brings a close to a 30-year association with Johnny and Apple. He joined in 1992, but brought all kinds of important things like the iPhone, the Apple Watch, the iMac, and so many other things. Jeff, what do you think? I think it's a sad day, but I think it was time to move on too.
Sure. From a nostalgia standpoint, this is a sad day. Yeah. From a business standpoint, I'm surprised that Apple kept Love From as a consulting company for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that this is ending now, the big surprise to me is that it didn't happen last year.
It might have been an ongoing project going on. I mean, that they had.
Yes, I'm sure you're right. And once they finished whatever it was that they were working on together, that collaboration was done, and Apple's like, okay, and we're done. And Johnny was like, yep, we are. See you.
Yeah. I'm sure it was,
and that's fine.
Like that, yeah. And that's how. I mean, if you're going to separate from a company, that's probably. I mean, you can't do.
That's a
much
pretty
better.
good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
To walk away with $100 million.
Well,
Yeah.
and to walk
Yeah.
away part of on good terms and with a good legacy, because a lot of things could have went wrong for Johnny, right? Like if some people, he could have, anybody can end up like the Pepsi guy at Apple and with the bad legacy, and
John Scully.
yeah. So I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for him. I think he exited out probably exactly how he would want to have done it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Andrew, you think it's quite the legacy with Johnny? What are your thoughts on
Definitely.
Johnny?
I like what Jeff said when he said it is sad for nostalgic reasons.
Right.
And as we all know, he's been like slowly, gradually making his exit for a number of years now. And this is it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Johnny, thanks for everything you've done for Apple and for us with all the great products you gave us over the years. But we wish you the best. I'm sure you'll be fine.
What do you think his coffin? He's going to have a great looking coffin.
Yeah,
With chamfered edges.
It could be. And a tombstone too.
It's going to be white. It's going to be shiny white with like no hard edge. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Do you think you do white and gold?
He could.
Maybe, or maybe it's going to be called like Starlight something. He's going to give it a name.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to have a FaceTime camera on the back too.
That's right. And then last story this week, despite a downturn in global smartphone sales, the iPhone 13 continues to sell well. The global smartphone market may be in the toilet, but iPhone 13 continues to sell well, and Apple expects the upcoming iPhone 14 to do even better, according to Reuters. Tech giants slightly higher expectations for its next-gen smartphone, which should debut in September, October, we think. Will underscore a growing belief among Wall Street analysts that Apple's sales are likely to hold up better than we thought. I do seem to remember we talked about an article the other day that the Mac is having 9.3% increase, where all the rest of them are not in a major decrease. So I think Apple's market overall is doing very well, but the iPhone continues to do just as well. Even though the Android is dominant around worldwide, it's still dominant in the U.S. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm not surprised by this.
No.
And Apple's positive outlook for the iPhone 14 doesn't surprise me either. I mean, when the 13 came out, that was the tipping point, I think, for a lot of iPhone 7 and iPhone 8 users. And I think the 14 will be the tipping point for a lot of iPhone 10 users. And the fact that Apple can still have strong sales while there's overall weakening in the smartphone market, I am not surprised at all.
No,
it's a product that people continue to want, regardless of how the rest of the market seems to be doing.
I couldn't live without it. I'm sure all of us feel that way. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah.
I was a little surprised about how it seems like the iPhone 13 is doing well. To me, it wasn't really a huge leap over the iPhone 12, but good for Apple. Like they can, I think, like, would you guys say the iPhone 13 might be the old S cycle? Because that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I can't remember that many. I don't remember any of the differences now on the top of my head, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And they haven't really done an S cycle for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Well, they stopped doing them. Yeah, they stopped doing them because whatever reasons, but I don't know. Somebody said on the podcast this morning that nothing's going to change until the possible foldable phone, really, at this point. So that's
probably, yeah.
And it makes sense. Like, what else can you do with it? What else can you do with it? Look at your phone right now and say, what else can you add or do or change? And there's not. It's pretty minimalistic. So
there's
just not much going
many
on.
crazy people out there, including myself and Warren, who upgrade every year. So, and we always see it every year.
You got to live the life.
We do. Hey, if I didn't do it, this podcast wouldn't be possible. So.
Yeah, see, you're in the position where you have to. I mean, you
I
are
don't have to do
obligated.
anything, but
We could all
Have to.
we could all tell ourselves a lot of things.
Yeah,
but,
no.
you know, we could be honest with ourselves too. We don't have
Sure.
to, but it's we like it. Let's put it that
Yes,
way.
we do.
We're tech fans and we're Apple fans. So
And there's nothing wrong with that at
Nothing
all.
wrong with that at all. And
Yeah,
even though I'm
lately
renting
I've
it
been-
every year.
I've been trying to convince myself so badly that I don't need the new MacBook Air M2.
So
Are
I'm
you
going.
sure about that?
Andrew,
Sure.
Andrew,
You want
we
the
gotta-
midnight blue, right?
No,
Yes.
Andrew, so
I
we gotta
mean-
talk. I sold my laptops because I sold my Windows laptops to make room for this Air, but I have the 14-inch Pro. This is
Oh, okay.
and I don't. There's no reason I need. It would replace nothing in my life.
hmm
I don't.
But you've done that
But
before.
it would be cool. And that blue,
But what am I going to
That's
do with
pretty
two
sexy.
MacBook? The 14-inch MacBook is actually a better laptop than the 13-inch new Air.
I agree. I use the 14 as for work, and I
I think
love it.
I think it's going to be.
And my
You know,
16.
it's got a bigger screen and it's got more ports and it's a better machine. It's a little bit heavier. And we're going off topic. I'm waiting for the 15-inch Air, and that's what I'm going to get.
Okay.
We'll see.
Ever since the first Air came out, ever since the 12-inch MacBook came out, I said to myself, because that was the first form factor, I said to myself, make this in 12-inch, 13-inch, 15-inch, 17-inch, and same size, same shape, just bigger. I mean, same depth. That's what people want, and that's what.
hmm
All right, let's move on to the topics this week. As always, we talk about what's going on in the beta world. Actually, kind of unique. I still think this is unique. The fact that Apple is still doing development on the current OS, since iOS 16 is going to be out, any time now. But iOS 15.6 is now in a release candidate. It was just released 2 days ago as a release candidate, RC, for both iPhone or iOS 15.6 and iPadOS 15.6 and public beta testers. You can download it now if you want, especially if you're a public beta tester. There are some final release notes because they didn't have any information about that before. They did add some new options for live sports games and addresses issues with device storage settings, Safari. TV app added an option to restart a live sports event already in progress and pause, rewind, and fast forward. Fix an issue where settings may continue to display that device storage is full even though it's available. Now that's a nice bug.
yeah.
And fixes an issue that may cause Braille devices to slow down or stop responding or navigate text and mail. That's probably not a good thing. For accessibility, so important. Then they also fix an issue with Safari where a tab may revert back to a previous page. Okay. So this is like the 5th release now, if I'm not mistaken, or the 4th or 5th of beta, and doing both at the same time. Very, very strange, I think. What do you guys think?
Well, it's not strange because it's going to be the last version of this.
Well, for sure.
So Apple's done this in the past. They make sure all the bells. They make sure the last version of that major version is solid, rock solid, because they're not going back.
Right.
And they've done this before.
Well, it's good because then people will be on 15.6 for a bit.
And that's why, yeah, and they're also didn't they take away there's still the ability to stay on the last version like this one, right?
Yeah.
iOS 13 had a thing where it was almost like an optional track.
I almost thought it was 14. Going 14 to 15. I think they
So-
didn't,
Yeah, it was 14 to 15.
they
Was
didn't
it that?
force
Okay.
it.
So,
Yeah.
Right. So when
Yeah.
they kind of started saying, listen, we're going to
Yeah, it
go
was
easier
kind
on
of
people.
hidden. Oh, by the way, also,
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to go easier on the people who decide not to upgrade to the latest version. We're going to kind of like hold their hands and support them. So
Yeah.
that's why they're doing this too.
no, it's great. No, I'm happy they're doing that because there are going to be people who are not unlike us that like to upgrade right away. They want to have a good solid OS, and they're going to have that. So, also
It's for suckers.
yeah, us suckers. Well, only you. tvOS 15.6 and watchOS 8.7 are also going to be coming out as well as their release candidates for that. So, but let's go on to iOS 16. There are a lot of exciting things going on in that world this week. They did release the public beta number 1 for iOS 16, iPadOS 16, as well as macOS Ventura. They had to re-release it though, which was kind of interesting. A week ago, Beta 3 was out, but then a week later, they had to do an unexpected step by re-releasing its third developer beta. They had found some issues that there was unclear why the builds are being reissued, but probably to resynchronize the builds with their public beta counterparts. Very possible. So it's kind of a weird thing. I guess the build numbers are a little different, or that they're very much the same. So
I got excited.
But when I did it on this 10R I have, it did say you got a new version to update to, even though you were already on it. So,
well, at first I thought it was. I didn't realize it was a real release. I thought it was the next. I thought they released the next version, the next update. So I got excited. I'm like, something's weird.
Yeah. So they did that. Then the public beta came out this week as well, where they've seeded the first public beta. So it does. They don't have everything in the public beta that they do in the developers beta. Talking about all the stuff we've already talked about, like passkeys and iCloud sharing photo library, and a lot of the stuff we've already talked about in the past. But if you decide to dare dabble in public beta, well, I guess you can do that. But I kind of tell you not to do it because you'll regret it.
Unlike Warren, who rushes in where angels fear to tread.
Yeah.
I will say, don't put beta software on any mission critical devices or devices that you can't afford to have to wipe and start over.
Yep. And then if you really dare, I wouldn't highly never recommend against it, they've also released the public beta for HomePod.
Okay, now with HomePod, go ahead and install all the betas you want. It can't be any worse than what you already have.
Yeah, the problem is you have to be on iOS 16 in order to get HomePod OS 16. So, because it does kind of work hand in hand, so that might be tough if you don't add that to it. But you can enroll them in the beta program, and actually it's saying you can enroll it, but no, you have to have iOS 16 or iPadOS 16. You have to be enrolled, and you got to go all in if you want to do it. So much for that. And a couple things that kind of stood out for me here is one of them that really was exciting was the fact that the big news on security, the lockdown mode. I don't, Andrew, did you have a chance to take a look at where that's at with lockdown mode?
If I remember right, it sounds like it's going to be released in the official version of iOS 16 later this year, I think. So so far it hasn't been seen in the betas.
Yeah, I got a link in the show notes to an Ars Technica article about why the lockdown mode from Apple is going to be one of the coolest security ideas ever. Basically, this is going to be a game changer. You can turn on lockdown mode. You can want to lock down an app, you can lock it down. And I think this is just adding another enhanced things here. And in fact, they have a list here of all their full restrictions they're going to be able to do here, including messages where most message attachment types other than images are blocked. Some features like previews are also disabled. Web browsing, Apple services, incoming invitations and service requests, wired connections with a computer or an accessory are blocked when the iPhone is blocked. Configuration profiles can't be installed or enrolled, like MDM if you don't have it, if it's not part of corporate. So this is, I don't know what you guys think, but I think this is something that's even going to make it more of a value of what iPhone really and iOS provides as far as giving you good security, honestly.
Google's going to steal it very soon, by the way. So they're
yeah.
Absolutely. They're going to have their version of this, no doubt, 100%.
Yeah.
I do think it's a really cool feature. And the thing that I first thought of is Apple, by the language that they're using, they are really kind of aiming this towards journalists and other people who are in these really high secure, like they need stuff like this. And it just seems to me, I think maybe this was in response to the whole fiasco with NSO Group. I think that made Apple really, really angry. And this is probably a reaction to that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think Apple's take was, seriously, they're going to do this? Screw those guys and the horses they reared in on. We're going to lock this down. And Dave, you're welcome. You have no idea how much self-editing I just did.
That's right. Oh my gosh. So a couple of things I wanted to touch on a little bit here when it comes to iOS 16. I got a link to an article on Mac Rumors here that some of the hidden features that they've discovered. I wonder, Warren, if you have discovered any of this stuff, but a couple of them that stand out. I'm not going to go through the whole list here, but copy and paste photo edits. If you want your photos to have the same aesthetic or have improvements you want to make to an entire batch of images, this is now going to be possible with a copy and paste feature for photo edits, which lets you copy edits and from one photo, then apply them to another photo with a tap.
That one, I haven't seen that one. I've seen a few of them. Duplicate context, definitely saw.
That feature right there.
That is huge.
Adobe should be really concerned because
with the photos?
The copy and paste photo edits.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for a long time, one of the features that people have really loved about Photoshop, the people that do a lot of image editing, is being able to essentially batch process edits across images.
Yeah.
And so, and just building this in to something that's part of your iPhone, holy crap. I mean, that's an expensive pro feature. That's just part of what you get when you download iOS 16 for free.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you, Warren. Merge duplicate context, that is always a big pain in iOS. That's
well, yeah, right. You could do it on the Mac. I mean, on the Mac, it's great, and nobody knew about it. That OS X had this feature for like ever, to merge duplicates.
Yeah. So
I'll go over to people's houses. They're like, my contacts are all whack, and I'm like, tick, $50. But it's like, and so doing it from the iPhone is great too, and the duplicate photos is really cool too, and that also made its way to Mac as well. This in Ventura, so that's great too. Face ID in landscape.
Yeah, I was going to say Face ID in landscape mode. That's pretty
one.
cool, because sometimes you don't want to hold it. You want to hold it in landscape mode and do that. Yeah. Even notes passcodes. Rather than creating a new password for a note, you can simply use your device passcode or Face or Touch ID instead. Which is going to make life easy too. Wi-Fi passwords is another one. Being able to
just tried it. It's cool.
See the password of the network that you're connected to. So you'll actually be able to see the password.
That we haven't been able to do that before now?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Every other computer operating system lets you do it, by the way. Every other one.
Right.
So Android, Windows, Chrome, everything will let you see the key for that. Even the Mac, you could do it. So it's just, nuts. Yeah. I told you guys once before, a long time ago, I would jailbreak my phone, and there was the only reason I jailbroke is because there was an app that showed the passphrase for Wi-Fi networks you were on, and I did it because I did a lot of IT support in my town, and everybody would forget their password. So I have my phone on.
Yeah, you collected those passwords.
Yeah.
So take a look at that article that has all the other items that are on here. We're not going to go through every single one of them, but that was just quite a cool, a bit of cool features that are hidden here. Couple of things I will mention too is the fact that iPhone may be missing some of these beta features by the time we get it in September. Whereas lifting the subject out of a photo, have you been able to do that, Warren? Have you tried?
I did. Yeah, it's really cool too, and you could put it in a message. So if I took a picture of my dog, you could get the dog right out of it, it's a little cumbersome. It's hard to get used to doing it, but you could drag it around into a different app. And, so messages is one. So you send a message with the photo that you're sending, and it's really cute.
I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The article that I'll be linking back to is the public beta does not have it. The developer beta does.
Which one?
These features I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
So lifting the subject out of a photo is not available in the public beta just yet.
That is a crazy powerful feature.
Yeah, it sure is.
I mean, I know people that rely on Photoshop to do that, and just building it in as another thing we get for free with the operating system. When I saw the feature, my first thought was, "Holy crap, that's insane!" And then my second thought was, "Okay, so Apple wants to make sure that the platform of choice for TikTok and YouTube video makers is iOS, iPadOS, and macOS."
Yeah.
I'd love to send this to you. I'm doing it.
And then live text. I didn't even realize you could do this. If you tried this, Warren, that you can copy text from a paused video and convert currency and translate languages with a single tap. Well, you're going to be limited to which iPhone you have. It has to be a 10s or later. So the 10s, 10R, and all the way on up. So it needs an A12 Bionic processor to handle that. So, a couple other things are going to be in this list as well. It goes on and on that you have to check out.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, so we'll obviously be covering a lot of this as it gets closer, and when we have iOS 16 in everybody's hands. So, so that's good stuff here. Let's see. I think we pretty much covered anything as far as that goes. And I got one right here. Go ahead.
Just gonna say it's actually been rock solid. The last beta.
That's good.
Cycle. It's been great.
This feature I am super excited about. Being the ability to be able to mirror your Apple Watch to your iPhone in iOS 16. You are now in iOS 16 and Watch OS 9. You will now have the ability to mirror the Apple Watch on your iPhone screen. And you actually can go in and actually tap on the screen and actually control the display of your Apple Watch. This is good for us who love to do demonstrations. Good for us. And this is an accessibility feature. So you basically go into the settings and change the accessibility to control your Apple Watch from your iPhone, and you have full mirroring with your Apple Watch. And this is a long time coming. I thought this was cool. What do you guys think?
I love these. These are like for lazy people. I love it. It's like my arm, and I do. It's like when your phone's all the way there. It's like it's right there, but I got this. Let me see if I can do it. It's the other way around, right? My watch is all the way on that wrist, and my phone's in this hand. So it's like when you team viewer into a computer that's in the next room because you don't want to get it.
You don't feel like going to the room.
Yeah, so it's cool. Yeah, definitely cool.
And thanks to folks at Apple Insider, they did a video demonstrating it too. If you want to check it out as well. So
I can't see much use. I mean, outside of accessibility for people who need that.
Well, that's what it's for. Yeah, it's accessibility.
And the demoing. Yeah, I can't see much other use for it. Because if you got your phone, the phone's going to do more than what the watch could do. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to some other topics here. Did you guys go take advantage of Amazon Prime Day? It just ended yesterday as we record this, and
I did.
And I know Warren. What did you buy? I knew you did, but
I bought three things. I got a Amazon portal, a Facebook portal, for $30. It's awesome. It's really awesome. For $30, my only regret is not buying like 5 of them. I got a charger and I got the I'll consider it a trackpad because it's sort of like that from so yeah.
Andrew, did you take advantage of anything in Prime Day?
I didn't buy anything, but I did find some stuff that I thought were really cool.
Yeah. Apple's the things that really stood out was and I gave in. I did buy another Apple TV. It was $109 for a 32 gig and $129 for a 64 gig, and that's like almost $80 off the normal price of that. So,
those are good prices.
It's a really good price
for a home hub. If it's not bad.
I also bought as a birthday present from my wife an Apple Watch 41 millimeter, $279. That was a really
nice,
because that's $399 normally.
And that's for
Apple.
the 7, right?
That's at Series 7. Yeah. And she got the Starlight, which was that's a good, nice color. So they had some real good sales there. I think one other thing I bought was a water sensor, Wi-Fi sensor you could put in my basement. So if I want to put it on the floor, I bought that to do that. But there was some good deals to be had. That's for sure. Not everybody gets too overly excited. I know you didn't, Jeff, because you didn't get anything. I remember if I recall correctly. But
I usually watch the Prime Day deals because I always have a list of stuff that I need.
Yeah.
And so if it's available for a good discount on Prime Day, then go ahead and get it. And just the way everything was kind of happening with my schedule, Prime Day hit
didn't
the first day, and I completely forgot about it. Yep. Then the second day, I realized partway through the day, I haven't looked to see if there's anything that I need.
Right.
And so I don't feel like I actually missed out, because before the end of the day, I actually did help a couple different friends pick out the right things that they needed from Prime Day deals. So I didn't spend my own money, but I did spend other people's.
It's overwhelming.
It really is.
Yeah. So just real fast, the way I conquered it the past 2 years is going to like Slick Deals,
right?
Basically, and not right to Amazon, because there's crazy people who spend their whole day just rating the sales, and
yep.
Yeah, so that's a little trick, and it's fun. While I was going in, so I went in the Amazon app, and I'm like, we get so mad that Amazon knows too much about us, but I'm in the app. I'm like, you need to know more about what I want at this point, because there's just too much stuff here. So it's overwhelming. But the Slick Deals, what's the other one? Deals.net, I think, is another one.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
A couple more things I'll mention. Yeah, the iPad, the entry level iPad 10.2 inch was $299.
Yeah.
The Eero deals were really good.
Yeah, the Eero deals. Yeah, there were some really good deals on the routers through that, and the Elgato Stream Deck was being sold for $99.99. The Stream Deck, which was.
It's a good thing I didn't see that one.
Chuck Joyner and I were saying, maybe we should buy a second one. But like, what am I going to do? I have one on each end here.
Yeah, well, then you buy a little rack mount thing to hold your Stream Decks.
Exactly.
And then you buy the other thing that you realize will make a great add-on to that, and it just keeps snowballing.
Yeah. So I drew the line. So Prime Day is over. It was 2 days. It's always fun, but c'est la vie. There'll be more deals down the road, I'm sure. Next article, you were just talking about routers. Andrew, you wrote this great article about the best routers for the iPhone, iPad, and for Mac as well. I found this to be really interesting. I wanted you to kind of share your thoughts of this with HomeKit. You hit on HomeKit on this in type of home networks and all that stuff. What really stood out to you that's going to make an iPhone and iPad be efficient with being on a network, and what devices you recommended?
Yeah, like you mentioned, when we were thinking about the best routers for Apple users, it was HomeKit. And the routers that support certain HomeKit features, I tried to explain HomeKit Secure, which is when the router can control the level of communication that other network devices have between each other and the web. There's HomeKit Secure Video, which works with security cameras. That is a feature of iCloud Plus, which lets you store and view security camera footage in your iCloud Drive account, and it doesn't count towards your storage. And then I also tried to explain a little bit about differences between what we think of as like a standard regular router and mesh networking. So that's another thing to keep in mind for people who want to buy a good router for their devices. So yeah, I think I tried to just cover a little bit about everything.
Yeah, I mean, you covered the Aero, and Jeff, you mentioned it. Do you have the Aero, Jeff?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the 6. You have the 6. This is the tri-band.
I do not have a 6.
Okay.
For me, there was no need to upgrade to a 6 because I wasn't going to get anything beyond what I already have with my Euro. So my next Euro will be when my ISP bumps me up over gigabit speeds, and then I'll need a new Euro that lets me do port bonding.
Yep, that makes sense. You also mentioned the Netgear Nighthawk. I'm a big Nighthawk fan. That's what I'm using, the Wi-Fi 6, and it has being able to have multiple devices, because I might have 20 or 30 devices on my network.
The one I sold you?
That is the one you sold me a long time ago. But I've always had the Nighthawk series routers as it is. But this one's the AX12, which is the newer one. But it does offer speeds up to 6 gigabit, which is pretty insane. Well,
yeah,
that is pretty insane.
Yeah. I have the Orbi. I had the Orbi 5, 3 satellites, and got used to the quirks and issues with it. It's definitely not as Apple-like as the Eros. They take a little more tech love sometimes, I think.
Yeah, but it's worked for me.
Yeah, well, the Orbis are great. So then when they came out with the 6, I got the Orbi 6, and I sold the 5s. And they're good. They're really good.
Yeah, so check that out. I think good information about routers, because we always get confused. You kept it in plain English for most people, so I think we can come up with some good routers for you, and to work well with your iPhone and your iPad, as well as your Mac.
And PSA real fast, Dave, if anybody out there listens to the show and they want to improve their networking, mesh.
Oh, absolutely, mesh.
I have so many people still that I support. They're like, I'm telling you, go mesh. They're like, well, I got this and I got the extenders, and I'm like, rip it all out, put it in a box, and get this mesh, and your life will be better.
Yeah, most of my recommendations were mesh.
They have to be it. I mean, it's just that's the standard. And I said it before, Apple missed a huge opportunity with putting mesh router radios in the HomePods and the minis. Yeah, don't know why they didn't do that.
I don't know either.
Yep.
Another thing you talked about this past week, Andrew, was about the weather app on the iPad. And I agree that the iPad, finally they brought this weather app. We've talked about it when it first came out in iPad OS 15. But it does have some great things to it. But there are some other weather apps that are out there that are probably better, especially the fact that that Apple bought. I'm having a brain cramp here. The Dark Skies that they've incorporated. They incorporated into that. But you hit upon the Weather Kit. Why don't you tell people what the Weather Kit is, as far as for apps developers with weather?
Yeah. So once after Apple acquired Dark Sky, they've really been kind of building out their own weather system, and developers with Weather Kit. That is just another way for them to incorporate Apple's own weather technology into their apps. And I thought the whole thing was interesting. Even though Apple they acquiring Dark Sky allowed them to improve their weather app so much, but Apple still does rely on third-party sources of weather information, like Breezometer. They supply the air quality information in the weather app. In some areas, I think it's for severe weather warnings, that's still the weather channel in there. So it's still kind of a whole mishmash of everything, but Apple's still slowly trying to grow their own network out.
Was this the one that was powered by Yahoo, or is that something else? A long time ago.
Yahoo, the Weather Channel. They do get sources of information from the government too.
Yeah, Yahoo is just weird to me that they picked Yahoo to do that. But
that's a whole other story.
Well, if you have enough money to throw at Apple.
Yeah.
Obviously, they threw too much.
You think?
But there's a ton of other weather apps out there. This is a great read as well to get more familiar with that. I'd be curious to see what Apple's going to do with Dark Sky, because they do have the Dark Sky app still. But I have this feeling it's gonna slowly disappear on us.
It's gotten so much better in iOS 16 too. I mean, the weather app, I use it constantly because it's so much better than it used to be. Like the rain is almost spot on at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let me throw in a couple tips here before we talk about Macstock here at the end of the show here. The ability to be able to switch from the list view from the icon view to the list view on the Apple Watch. This is in Watch OS 8. By default, you get the honeycomb view, and I don't know, a lot of people don't like the honeycomb view to look at the apps on the Apple Watch, but you can put it into list view. I tend to use list view because I like just to be able to scroll through and find what I'm looking for instead of squiggling around.
Honeycomb view is terrible. If you have more than 5 apps, it's
exactly. So the way you go about switching that is you firmly press the screen with your finger until the option to switch your app layout appears, and you just tap list view. Very simple, easy way. And then if you want to switch it back, you do the same thing, and it'll bring it back. Then you can also select grid view if you want as well. That was one tip here. And the other one I wanted to mention about is how to AirPlay from your iPhone to your Mac using Monterey and iOS 15. I don't know if you guys have done this. I mean, I almost like, why do I have any of these other programs like Reflector or any of this when you can easily mirror your iPhone through AirPlay, just going through that method, because you just all you have to do is on your iPhone you go into the control center, you tap screen mirroring, and it should appear as a method of doing screen mirroring right in your list. You pick screen mirroring, and then voila, there's the iPhone displaying right on your Mac, including you be able to play videos. So that's a cool tip to know as far as that. The other tip I wanted to mention real quick is how you can change where your new apps get downloaded on your iPhone. When you download an app, you have a choice. You can actually go in and tell it to either add to your home screen right away, or if you just want to put it in the app library. So a lot of people have it in the app library, and then it doesn't clutter up all your home screens if you so choose not to put it there. The way you do that is you can go in and change the new app, and where it gets downloaded, and just go into settings, go into home screen, and there's an option, select to add to home screen or add to app library only. So you can go in and choose either one of those. And some people like to have it all on their home screen. I mean, we were also used to having hundreds of, or if not, hundreds upon hundreds of apps sitting in our home screens. But now with the app library coming from, I think it was iOS 13 that was introduced, you now can just keep things in the library. And if you want to get to an app later, you just either go to the app library or you can search for it. So did you guys know that setting? I didn't realize you could actually change it. I knew it would go there, but I didn't know you could actually change it.
It's one of those things where you learn about it, get the setting you want, and then never change it and forget about it until someone else brings it up as a tip.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just did.
Yeah.
And then the last one, this is actually from imore.com. I thought this was cool. 8 ways to get help from Apple support using shortcuts. Sometimes you need a little help from Apple. Shortcuts can get you there quick. And they've got eight links here to different methods of getting to Apple support. Now, bear in mind, if you do it on your Mac, you have to have, this has to open in Safari, because that's the only way you're going to get the shortcuts to copy into the Shortcuts app on the Mac. But on iOS or iPadOS, you just click these links and it'll automatically put it into the Shortcuts app for you. You have options like Apple Support homepage, opening the Apple Support app on iPhone or iPad, search Apple Support, make a Genius Bar reservation. You can call Apple Support. You can call Apple Care. You can go to Twitter and see Apple Support, and you go to YouTube to look at Apple Support. So 8 quick shortcuts, and you can put them in the library, and you have them there at your fingertips. I know, Jeff, you love shortcuts. I think these are kind of cool.
I do love shortcuts. These are kind of cool. And at the same time, it makes me wonder, does Apple really think that there's enough people out there that need to set Genius Bar appointments that often that they need to create shortcuts for it?
Yeah.
They need
I
help.
mean, I'm assuming Apple created these. I mean, I didn't look.
I'm assuming so too. And yeah, but anyhow, it's okay. I'm not going to bag on Apple for this because they need to be doing everything they can to give us as much automation support as we can possibly have, especially because they let AppleScript languish for so long.
That is true. That is true. Any thoughts on those guys?
Cool.
All right. And then lastly, I wanted to mention this is a week, as we're recording this, we're about a week away from Macstock and Macstock Conference and Expo, which is in Woodstock, Illinois. I'm here in my hometown, Chicago area. I will be speaking there as well as many others. Chuck Joyner will be there. If you go to macstockconferencingexpo.com, you can check it out. There's still going to be some tickets left for the event. I will be speaking about media and how to consume media. I think it's going to be a fun thing. I have a link in the show notes from my appearance on Mac Voices with Chuck Joyner and what was going on with that. I know, Warren, you're going to probably be there, assuming everything goes all right on the Sunday. And I'm actually speaking on Sunday, so you get to see me. So come on out and check it out. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a pretty good crowd coming, with a lot of protocols in place for protecting you for the COVID and the pandemic stuff. So we're going to keep things safe, and it's going to be a great time. That's July 23rd and 24th. It's 1 week from you'll probably listen to this, and come check it out. And you can also join up if you want to, and you'll be able to. There'll be a online pass, so you'll be able to watch the presentations later. So that stuff will be out there as well. Well, that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee, where we would really appreciate it. You also can become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so you are notified when we are live streaming, which is usually on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/DaveG65, where you can watch previous shows as well as listen to past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped into this magazine. The link is in the show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. And Andrew Orr, thanks as always for coming on the show. We always love it when you have some great articles to discuss, as well as all the other good topics. We appreciate everything you do over at Apple Insider, and tell everybody where you can find you.
So I am writing at Apple Insider. You can find me writing about a pretty wide variety of subjects, I think. And then, as always, I'm on Twitter at Andrew or not.
Great. Thanks for being here. Jeff Gamet, as always, great to see you. Great to have you here on the show. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks for letting me come back yet again. It's always so much fun to hang out with everyone. People can find me on Twitter and Instagram, jgamet on both, youtube.com/jgamet for occasional videos. Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live. Thursdays here with you. The big show and the Mac show, so that would be Thursday and Friday. The Context Machine with Brian Chaffin. On a different note, I'm going to be going to WordCamp US in San Diego, but I didn't get a ticket because I was actually recording a podcast when tickets went on sale, and by the time the show was done, all the tickets were gone.
Oh no! But you have a connection.
I'm not letting that stop me from going. And I know there's a lot of other people that are going to WordCamp US as well that don't have tickets. So I made a Slack group for everyone so that all of us that don't have tickets, we can coordinate for all of the stuff that we're going to be doing on what has been now dubbed the taco track. And so hit me up, send me a DM on like Twitter, and I will send you a link to the Slack group. Warren is completely baffled.
Where are you going? What camp? What?
WordCamp US. So this is the biggest conference in the United States for WordPress users.
Really, there's a thing.
Oh, there has been forever. It's
Huge. Yeah, WordCamps are done all over the country. Well, all over the world. So cities all over the world do. It's like Macstock, but for WordPress.
Get lunch at 12.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you play board games. Do you play Wordle? You
will be able to play a board game version of Wordle very soon here. So
you'll be able. Warren, if you want to show up to WordCamp and play Wordle,
if you know welcome. Exactly where I'm never going to be, that's it.
Okay, you're missing out.
Well, okay, just because you don't do web design, you know.
No, I supported one lady with WordPress once, and she convinced me never to look at WordPress again because she was horrible. So I decided not to.
Oh well, that's fine.
40% of the
There's still
of the
more
websites.
than enough WordPress for the rest of us. Yeah. So
no, have fun with that word thing you're doing.
It will be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Oh, always.
You should be, because San Diego. And
that's good. That's a good point.
San Diego
and
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's and the venue is really close to the little bay there.
I would play Wordle to go to San Diego.
Well, there you go.
Even though Wordle has nothing to do with WordPress.
A plane ticket, and I mean, in our Slack, people starting to join, and they're already talking about which taco places they want to go to. So you know. It's going to be a wonderful time.
Are they going to start blogging on it on WordPress of all this? Because that's what you do on it, right? It's a blogger.
It's more than that.
It's a whole other show.
Like, yeah, that's like a totally different show. But yes, it's a very popular platform for bloggers.
Okay. Well, speaking of whole nother show here, Warren, where can people find you?
Will not be in San Diego with Jeff at this word thing.
You're missing out.
Well, I mean, I would go just hang out with you. I mean, could I hang out with you and just not do the thing?
Yes, right. Absolutely.
That's different. You can find me here. You can find me sometimes with Jeff, and I'll see Dave hopefully.
And others who are going to Macstock
on Sunday. Yeah, I got my car rental, so I'm picking it up at 8. I should be there like 9:30ish, and then
there you go. So if you're gonna go to Macstock, you'll see not only me, you'll also see Warren on Sunday.
That's worth going right there.
Just Sunday for Warren.
Not if I see you first.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it, and we'll talk again soon.